Hello, everybody. This is the Beef and the Deuce podcast. I am the Deuce, the Cleveland Browns fan who would rather defrost his refrigerator than continue watching the Browns play today. Beef, your team's playing tonight against the Pittsburgh Steelers. How are you doing?
Well, as you know, I am a true fan through thick and thin,
Uh-huh.
and I'm also a realist. And this game does not look good for us. Defense is ouchie boys. Lawrence is out. Mike is out.
Yeah.
Brandon Cook's on IR. We're in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just doesn't add up.
No, it doesn't.
Like it's just bad. It's just we can't stop a nosebleed on the defensive side of the ball.
Uh-huh.
Our offense hasn't really gotten anything together.
Right.
This is a problem, and Pittsburgh's got a hell of a defense. Justin Fields is on a nice little run.
Yeah.
We might get smoked.
Yeah. It's in
Like we might honestly get smoked.
It's at Three Rivers, whatever they call that stadium now. But before we start anything, let's talk about the point predictions from last week. 35-7. My brother Andy was 35-13, so he nailed the high end. Robert
Good
was,
for him.
yeah, rookie. Robert was 41-7, so he nailed
It's very close. Very close.
And the rest of us were too far off. So it's basically down.
Yeah, we just suck.
It's just well, obviously. So I'll let you decide. Andy at 35-13 or Robert at 41-7.
I like the 41-7. I don't even know what you want to call it. Just by an edge, just a little bit.
Yeah. It's almost a tie. But yeah.
I will go with old more man.
Yeah,
it's a hell of a score prediction.
We'll go with the Robert. Congratulations! This is his second win here, didn't he?
We owe him something.
Well, I owe him 2 liters of root beer.
Ooh,
but I will mention that I do have them and they're in the trunk. So
there you go.
So as I drive around, I'm going to hit every bump and
just open it on purpose.
The thing is going to explode when he opens that thing up. All right, so Iowa and Ohio State. Talk to me about it.
Well, obviously the score, as you said earlier, 35-7.
Mm-hmm.
Started off just a little slow again.
Of course.
Something kind of shot ourselves in the foot with a couple things.
Turnovers.
But turnovers killed us. And again, it's one of those where, like, obviously we're happy we won.
Yeah.
And that's all fine and dandy. And like at this point, we're kind of nitpicking. But starting off slow is not always going to benefit you.
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of been the trend lately, where it's like I get like the first possession is kind of a feeling out process, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, we did score on a Emeka Egbuka touchdown pass, which is great.
Didn't we score on the first drive of the first half and the first drive of the second half?
Yeah. But like you said, it's those self-inflicted turnovers.
Yeah.
Again, it's going to happen. Like, Will Howard's not going to be perfect. Winshaw's not going to be perfect.
But
Jeremiah Smith's not going to be perfect.
He really should not have thrown that ball, though. That was bad.
That was very forced. Very forced.
Yeah. I mean, he was clearly not open. Anyway.
Yeah. But from the third quarter on, we dominated. Like, second quarter, nothing really happened.
Yeah.
Neither of us scored. It was just kind of a back and forth. Iowa's defense actually played well.
Mm-hmm.
I would say they played well for the most part until we just got hot in the second half.
And they just had turnover after turnover after turnover.
Oh, yeah. Cade just got smoked.
But
just got smoked.
Credit to our defense on those, right?
Yes, our defense was phenomenal.
Yep.
And I think that's the best way to put it, is just we came out to play, and we were just obviously the overall better team. But, I mean, our defense just from point A to point B.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
And we have gotten better and better each week.
And once again, they scored that late touchdown, which pisses me off, but whatever.
Yeah.
That was second team in there.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremiah Smith, as we well know, is a stud.
That's like what? That's not possible.
And it was a pass interference. Dude was all over him.
Yeah.
Catches that ball with ease in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah.
Which, as I was talking to my brother-in-law today about it, that's probably why they didn't throw the flag, because he made that catch just look so effortless.
Yeah.
Like it's just truly unbelievable. This dude is 18 years old.
Right.
And he's this good already.
Yeah.
I mean, this is phenomenal.
Okay, so I texted you during the game and I said, Howard just throws these buttergood fade passes, man. He's just on those fades.
Oh, it's on point.
End zone,
high point and everything.
End zone or at the, out of bounds. He just puts it right where only one person can get it.
Mm-hmm.
This is very impressive.
Yeah, and I thought overall he played, obviously, 200 yards, 4 scores, and a pick.
Mm-hmm.
That's a damn good day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I know before when we talked on Thursday,
it is raining.
It was kind of this whole, like, if they shut down one part of our offense, how would the other part look?
Yeah.
And obviously, like, our rushing wasn't, as it wasn't really filling the stat box too much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we still put over 400 yards of total offense.
Yeah.
And I felt like it didn't really look like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, until the second half, we just poured it on. But
and our running game looked dominant again.
Yeah, it looked better as the game went on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what those guys are going to do. Is you start beating them, they'll start beating you down, and then they're going to just blow it open.
Yeah, I mean, this was as pretty of a OSU Iowa game as you're going to get.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I was pleased. Got to see a little more of Will Howard running the ball.
Mm-hmm. Planned runs.
And
right?
outside of his mishap, I thought he looked fine.
Yeah, they designed runs for him. That's good.
And then obviously, like I said, at the end, the rushing attack got going.
Uh-huh.
So now you have just between Judkins and Henderson, I think you had like $130 so on the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought overall it was fine, and we're leading on into Oregon week.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a massive 2-3 matchup now.
Any thoughts on that Oregon game?
I
think we'll take it.
I'm not terribly impressed with Oregon.
Yeah, they're not blowing people away.
No, I think with a lot of the hype that they've had from preseason to now,
mm-hmm.
it's either they start hot and then they just slow the hell down.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, they just look like crap
mm-hmm.
and eventually start to pull away just a little bit and win these nail biters.
Yeah.
Like watching the Michigan State game, I wasn't impressed at all. I think Dylan Gabriel's just – I think he's average.
Okay.
Defense, I'm not terribly worried about. And just seeing kind of how our offense is going, and it's getting better each week. So there's no shot that they can stop any part of this offense.
Well, I hope you're right. So they're undefeated.
They are undefeated.
You can't take that away from them.
I will absolutely not take anything away.
Yeah, and they're listed as number 3.
Yeah, number three, I believe
in the AP. Yeah. So, do you see this as this coming week as Oregon's only loss in the regular season?
I mean, they have, let's see, they have us. A couple weeks after that, it's Illinois, Michigan. Yeah, I mean, I don't see them really losing. I don't see them losing to Michigan because I think Michigan's just trash.
Well, now, Michigan brought in that other quarterback. He must have been, the
Tuttle. Yeah.
He seemed to throw the ball.
7th-year Tuttle.
He seemed to throw the ball better than, which isn't much. But,
yeah, I mean, it was better than Alex Orji was doing.
Yeah. I mean, they scored points in the second half, so they weren't dead in the second half. In fact, they came back, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Washington overall played a great game.
Oh, I was impressed. They out-muscled. They were playing Michigan football and beat them. I was impressed.
Yeah, I don't see Oregon losing another game. I truly don't.
All right.
And right now, OSU's spread, or the spread right now is OSU favored by 4
That's it.
as an away team, which is actually really good.
Yeah.
Over-under is 52.5, so pretty high-scoring game.
Yeah.
And Oregon's winning line is plus 160 on the SN. So,
Okay.
I don't. You go through their schedule. Obviously, week 1 we've harped on with the Idaho game.
Mm-hmm.
The Boise State game now looks a little bit better with Boise State just playing well.
They're doing
the best running back in the country right now in Genty.
What, 17 in the nation right now? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They blew through Oregon State, which is meh.
Yeah.
UCLA's bad.
Right.
And then Michigan State's. I mean, they're just meh.
Yeah.
So I mean, they haven't really been tested, and you go through our schedule. Obviously, it's kind of the same thing. We haven't really been tested too much, but we've also blown these teams away.
Yeah, we've done what we're expected to do.
We're expected to beat these dudes, cover the spread, or go way over the spread and move on.
Right. When we've done that, so that's what you're expected to do.
Yep, and we haven't really struggled too much against anybody else. So I mean, going into this game, we're humming. Like, this offensive train's humming. This defense is scary. This is why we're number 2 in the nation.
Yeah.
I get it's an away game. It's gonna be a primetime night game. I'm not terribly worried about it, which is probably a bad thing.
Probably. Probably.
But I like where this team's headed. I don't see a ton of issues outside of starting a little bit slow in the first quarter, and then, whether or not the defense comes to play right away or not is kind of the head scratcher for me. That's probably my big question for the game is, like, which defense are we going to get? Are we going to get the defense that kind of starts off slow, or are they coming out with a bang, and they're playing just what we expect is just hard-nosed football. We can actually tackle people, force some turnovers, pressure the quarterback, get Dylan Gabriel uncomfortable. And I think that will be the key factor is keeping Gabriel on his toes, make him uncomfortable, force some turnovers, and then, I mean, the game should be, from that standpoint, pretty easy sailing.
Yep. I agree. We'll see what happens. Anything else in the Ohio State game we need to go over?
No, I think it's very straightforward, which was great.
Yeah.
There wasn't. I don't think even going through the game, us going back and forth, there wasn't a ton of questions outside of the forced, pick from Will Howard. But that's. I get he's trying to make a play. Yeah, it's not the time to do it.
He was pressured.
But yeah, I think overall, we were fine.
Yeah. Okay, the question I asked you, was it yesterday or this morning or whatever? Okay, so in the Big Ten, the acknowledged leaders are, and the only 3 undefeated teams, well, there's Indiana, but consensus leaders are OSU, Oregon, and Penn State. So with USC stumbling, Michigan having 2 losses, and everything is in the middle, Washington's at 4-2. Who is the number 4 team in the Big Ten? Is it Indiana at 6-0? I mean, statistically, you would say, yeah, it's Indiana.
Yeah, absolutely.
But do you really believe that? Do you believe they're better than Michigan? If Michigan gets a little bit better passing game, Washington looks very impressive.
I think if you get the Washington team from last night, they're number 4. But if you look at just pure numbers,
right,
record, standing, whatever, it's Indiana.
Indiana is putting huge points on the board. Huge.
Yeah, I mean your quarterback, and however you pronounce his name, I'm gonna botch it, but Curtis Rook.
Yeah, good enough. Good enough.
Yeah, I mean he's got almost 1,800 passing yards, 14 touchdowns, 2 picks.
They've never not been in the lead.
Yeah, and like you said, they have put up insane amount of points.
Yeah, this last week was actually a little bit lower than their normal, but
I mean, it's been crazy. They put up at least 40-something a game.
yeah, yeah. So okay, so then let's go with the next three then. We go Indiana. No, I'll tell you what, Indiana and Nebraska this weekend, that's an interesting game. That's an interesting game.
Very, very much so. 6-0 versus 5-1.
Yep.
Nebraska won a thriller of 14-7 against Rutgers in some very, very crappy weather.
Yeah, Rutgers is an interesting team. I've really been focused on them, but they're doing some damage.
Yeah, defense-wise has obviously been solid. Offense just is a little slower, but
right. So who do you?
Not bad at all.
So you have Indiana at 4. Who's 5 and 6?
I think Washington's 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like, oh God, that's tough. That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
I would almost by default put USC.
Really?
I think they're better than Michigan, even though Michigan's won the head-to-head.
Yeah.
Michigan is just all types of bad. All types of bad.
And yet they are 4-2.
Yeah. Somehow,
well.
Somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Illinois. But yeah, I mean, I don't see any other team. I think USC is better than Illinois.
Yeah. Illinois is a pretty good team, but I don't think I'm not totally sold.
I don't see them being SoCal.
Yeah.
I think I would put USC at 6.
Okay. All right. So it's Indiana, Washington, and USC, and you're leaving Nebraska out. Now
it's close. I'm not feeling great about it. But they're close.
Could that change very much after this Saturday?
Yes. Yeah. If Nebraska does pull the upset, that changes a lot.
Yeah. Is that really an upset, or is it? It seems like there's two very good teams in the playing each other.
I mean, Indiana's in the top 20 right now. When's the last time we saw Indiana in the top 20?
That's right.
Or since what, Nam?
Yeah. That's
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah. Well, it's been like, 70 years or something, or some insane amount that they've had this undefeated record at this point.
It's great to see. It's great to see a team that we've crapped on. We crapped on all preseason that this is like bottom tier football. Mm-hmm. Northwestern, Indiana, bottom tier, skid mark of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And look at this. Look at this.
Well, whoever the coach is, and he came from us. Where was it? But he brought a lot of his players with him, and they did a huge amount of work in the portal. So a lot of people are saying, yeah, well, Indiana's not your Indiana from, your dad's Indiana. It's a new Indiana.
Oh, Coach Signetti?
Yeah. Who was he with? Holy Cross or anyway?
I'm trying to remember now. Now I'm having a brain fart.
Yeah, well, no baseball questions, so don't worry about that. Okay. So here's a question then. Let's do a little rundown for the rest of the season.
James Madison.
James
Madison.
I knew it was Holy Madison or something like that, yeah.
Holy Madison.
Holy Madison. So USC's at 3-2. I'm looking at the rest of their schedule. They'll probably win 3 games, maybe 4. That's a 6 or 7 win season for them. That's not what they wanted, right? Now things can change, and who knows? But they get a tough schedule.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
No, it's
not ideal.
Not. And Nebraska, they're 5-1, and I'm thinking, okay, these are kind of what I would think of pretty much shoe-in wins. They could win 3 more games, maybe more, but I definitely give them 3 more games. So they're at 8-4, maybe 9-3. Washington at 4-2. Right, any thoughts on Nebraska on that?
That's tough too. I still like Washington, I think.
Yeah. So Washington's at 4-2. I think they've got a decent path to win 4 more games, at least.
Well, let's see. They're
playing.
They should be Iowa, I would think.
I would think, but
I kind of like them upsetting Indiana.
Yeah.
I could see them beating USC, especially at home.
Yeah.
I think the Penn State game's a little more interesting than some people might think.
Yeah, but I'm going to give them to Penn State just for the heck of.
Yeah, for now, I'll probably give it to Penn State. UCLA, they should win, and then Oregon will probably be a little bit more tougher than people would think. I think Oregon wins, but I think it's close.
So that's 4 wins, right? 4, you're pretty sure. Okay, so that's.
Yeah.
And Michigan, they're 4-2, and they've got a pretty tough either, but they can win another 4 games, I think, in their schedule.
Let's see. I think Illinois would be a little tough.
Yeah, could be.
Especially at home.
Yeah.
Let's see. They should beat Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
Should beat Northwestern.
Right.
Ooh, this could get interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good.
Ooh, I could see 2 more wins for sure.
Only 2?
I see it kind of murky.
Okay. So you think
maybe 3. I think they could pull the one off against Illinois.
Yeah.
But Oregon, Indiana is home, so that could be interesting. That's probably the biggest game of their career.
If Indiana beats Michigan, that's just going to be insane.
Yeah, I mean, home game there will be interesting, and obviously I don't see them coming close to us. So.
Right. Well, yeah. So I'm thinking I was going to give them 4. You don't think maybe 3 at tops?
I think 3 tops.
So that's 7. That's only 7 wins. Ouch. Indiana.
It'd be weird if they actually had a passing quarterback, though. Yeah. That could throw.
Now, as much as we like Indiana at 6-0, if you look at their last 6 games, they might win 2 of them. They have a brutal last 6 games. You want to take a look at that one?
Let's see. So you got Nebraska, obviously, Washington, Michigan State, Michigan, Buckeyes, Purdue.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Michigan State and then Purdue, they should walk over them. The rest?
Yes.
It could be.
I think they beat Nebraska.
Okay. Well, we'll find out tonight or Saturday.
Oh, man. Home with Washington.
Yeah, they're going to lose.
I think they lose to Washington at home.
Mm-hmm.
Beat Michigan State. I say they beat Michigan. Lose to the Buckeyes. Beat Purdue.
So you're seeing 3 wins for them then?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's
Could you imagine Indiana with a 9-win season?
Can you imagine Indiana imagining that?
I don't think they expected 6 wins.
Yeah.
Like, they're already bowl eligible. That's insane.
Yeah, they are. Well, yeah. 9 wins. Okay, 9-3. Illinois 4-1. I like Illinois, and I could see their schedule's not bad. They could win another 4 games, maybe 5, but definitely can win 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think on that one?
For which team now?
Illinois.
Illinois. Okay. I just want to make sure I had the right team pulled up. Geez, that's tough. That's tough. Let's see. So they should walk all over Purdue.
Yeah, for sure.
Michigan's obviously a little tough. I'll probably give the edge to Michigan slightly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have any chance against Oregon. Minnesota's interesting, especially with the upset with the USC.
Yeah.
Obviously yesterday.
Yeah.
Probably by default, I'll go Illinois, home game. They should beat Michigan State. I say they lose to Rutgers, beat Northwestern.
So that's 4 wins for you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not what I had. So they could be 8, maybe 9, but they could be definitely.
That's a solid Illinois season.
It is. A lot of it's interesting. So you're seeing OSU at undefeated, Oregon with 1 loss. Where do you look at Penn State? I didn't really project them out, but they're undefeated at this point. So.
That's interesting too. See, they should beat Wisconsin.
Yeah.
They should beat USC this coming weekend. I would hope.
That would crush USC if they did that.
Yeah, but I mean, just watching that game
Yeah,
yesterday,
I was
I was
impressed.
not impressed with them going against Minnesota, which is
Right.
another bottom tier,
Yep.
as of right now, a
Right.
bottom tier Big Ten team.
Yep, I agree.
And PJ Flex, I mean, I don't know if you want to believe the rumor mill or what you read. He's kind of sort of on the hot seat.
Well, he's sort of
This just kind of helped him a little bit.
yeah. Well, he's sort of underperformed, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, they brought him in
Yeah.
for a reason,
Yeah.
and that is to make this program somewhat reasonable.
Yeah, he's wearing the trestle vest. You know, that's
Mm-hmm.
3 games right there, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Oh, shoot. But I say Penn State beats USC, beats Wisconsin, loses to the Buckeyes. So they beat Washington, beat Purdue, beat Minnesota, beat Maryland. So, yeah, they would have 1 loss.
So you're looking at OSU, no loss, Oregon and Penn State at 1 loss.
Mm-hmm.
So did they go head to head? Penn State, that would be who's the tiebreaker on that one then?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know how that would work. So you would have, say, Oregon 1 loss, Penn State 1 loss.
But wouldn't it be the head to head? If they played head to head, I don't know if they played head to head.
Yeah, they don't play head to head this year, so I think they
Have some other.
just stay as is, and they probably both get into the CFP.
Yeah, but there's going to be a Big Ten championship game.
I think that would go with. I don't know what the tiebreaker is for that.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it'd be the conference record, right?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day it would be conference.
So you think they're both losing 1 in the conference? I think so.
Yeah, because I think Oregon would lose to
State.
to us. Penn State loses to us.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're losing to the same team. So, yeah, I don't know what it's a.
Does it go straight to schedule after that?
I don't know what the tiebreaker is on that one.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Point differential or
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you want me to make it extra easy for you, I could say that USC beats Penn State. If it makes you feel any better.
No, I mean I don't care. It's whatever it is. But it's coming down to a very interesting last half of the season here, don't you think?
Very, very, very.
Yeah. So, and a lot of teams I think are going to be bowl eligible here. I mean, obviously the top 3 and Indiana, Nebraska, Michigan. I think is going to get bowl eligible. Washington be bowl eligible.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska bowl eligible. Probably USC and Illinois. I think Illinois.
You would hope so. You would hope so.
Illinois has the easier shot, I think, to get bowl eligible.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know. But a lot of teams in the bowls.
Yeah, Big Ten's strong. Big Ten's real strong.
How do you think? How many teams are going to make it into the playoffs then? Top 4?
I would say 3 for sure.
I mean, Collat had 3, and then the SEC had 5 for the SEC.
Mm-hmm. I think for sure 3. I didn't expect USC to struggle as much as they have. The fall off of Michigan's rather surprising. So early, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd say for sure Buckeyes, Ducks, and the good old Nittany Lions.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'd say 3 is a pretty strong bet.
Okay. Anything else in the? Well, what about the 25 little shuffle there? Texas number 1. You'd said Texas at number 1. Turns out to be true. OSU number 2. Oregon. Any surprises out of the top 10? Really? Clemson at 10. Tennessee, Alabama, Miami at 6.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything really surprised me. I figured as much that the 2-3 matchup was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
With the Buckeyes and Oregon. And I felt like everything else was basically just a shuffle upward.
Mm-hmm.
I figured Bama would stay within the top 7. I know some were talking about maybe just dropping them down to to 5 and then pushing Georgia to 6. Wasn't the biggest fan of that.
Mm. Not the way Alabama played. They didn't play.
No, they look terrible.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any hate towards it. I mean, Clemson's playing really well right now. They should be in the top 10.
Yeah.
Ole Miss lost to a rather tough Kentucky team, and they lost by 3. So it's not the worst loss in the world.
Mm-hmm. So they're at 9. So
yes, so they should still stay within the top 10. Tennessee looked really bad against Arkansas. They just looked flat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of curious to see how that bounce back is going to be for them. Tennessee always blows a game at some point early. So there that was. I was thinking Notre Dame may squeak into the top 10 or be close to it. So them at 11 I thought was pretty fair. Or 12, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Miami's kind of the question mark for me out of the top 10 because they've struggled the last few weeks, and these games have been insanely close. They should have lost the Cal game.
Yeah, Cal beat somebody big time this last week. I mean, they were like, Cal, really?
Yeah, Cal was hot.
Yeah.
But I mean, they struggled with Florida State. Ultimately, Florida State beat them.
Yeah.
But beating Auburn early in the seasons, I mean, for California to be an SEC team early, that's pretty
impressive.
Significant.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with this Miami team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they put up a mad amount of points, and that's great. But their defense is atrocious. And they were down 20 points in the 4th, and Cal just blew it.
Yeah.
Just absolutely blew it.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's what you want your Miami team to be, you're not going to be successful towards the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to come up against a team that's a lot better than Cal.
So are you predicting Clemson will take the conference again?
I don't think it's too far fetched.
They look good. They've
looked better and better each week.
After that first game, they've looked really good.
Yep. And Miami still has Louisville away.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia Tech's no slouch.
Right.
And away at Syracuse, Kyle McCord.
Yeah.
That Syracuse has not played bad.
Yeah. Good for them.
So I think there's at least a couple games out there that if Miami keeps playing the way that they are, those are dangerous games. Those are pretty big trap games.
Yep. Okay. So, okay. Let's talk a little pro football here. Obviously, Baltimore and Cincinnati is near and dear to my heart, and I thought it was an excellent game to watch. Nobody played defense per se. What did you think of that score fest?
Like I told my brother-in-law, who would have had this on your bingo card of a almost 90, 80 point, 41 to 38, so do your quick math.
Yeah.
Who would have had that?
Yeah, almost 80, yeah.
Who would have had that? That's insane.
Yeah, especially the way they got it. I mean,
Joe Burrow had the game of his life.
Yeah.
Lamar slinging it.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a fun football game to watch because you don't get that in the AFC North matchups often at all. Those are usually slugfests.
Head knockers. Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
I thought Joe Burrow's post-game conference interview was perfect.
Yeah. We don't belong.
He called out everybody like, we are not a playoff team. Yeah. Basically, we suck.
Yeah. Well. So what do you think this Browns obviously at 1-4 and they deserve to be there. I call them one and done. But the Bengals at 1-4.
I would have never guessed it.
Has anyone come back from that to get in the playoffs?
I will give the Bengals this. If any team is capable of coming back from this, I would say it's probably the Bengals.
Yeah, but that's a deep hole.
It's a deep hole. It's very bad. And obviously there was a lot of sports analysts or just football fans in general kind of downing the Ravens, and look what the Ravens are doing now.
Yeah.
After kind of their sluggish start.
Yeah.
But the Bengals have the next couple weeks of get-right games with the Giants and the Browns.
Yeah.
They should win those games.
Mm-hmm.
At this rate, anybody can beat the Eagles because the Eagles are just trash. So that's a home game for them. Raiders at home, and then they go to Baltimore.
Yeah.
So the next month or so, like they could pull in 4 wins.
Yeah.
4-1. So you'll be dead on 500.
Maybe even, yeah.
So and then you kind of finish off with Chargers, Steelers, Dallas, Titans, Browns, Broncos, Steelers again.
Yeah, they can be 10 winner.
Yeah, I think just the beginning of their schedule is not the easiest. Now, the first week, obviously losing the Patriots is bad. That was a terrible loss.
Yeah.
They were in it with the Chiefs the whole game till the end.
Yeah.
Commanders are coming out to be the freaking truth.
Yeah. Wow, the Commanders. Impressive.
So, I mean, it's not the easiest schedule. So we'll see kind of how the mid part of the season goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the panic meter is on a little bit, I would say.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's anything that they can't come back from, especially going into kind of an easier couple weeks to kind of get right before you get into the main course of your schedule.
Mm-hmm. So are the Browns as bad as the Panthers? You can talk to me about the Browns. Talk to me about the Browns.
Well, Stefanski's already come out and said that Deshaun's your starter. That's not changing.
Okay.
Which I think is a massive mistake. I think 5 games into the season, I mean, it's just bad. Now, I get there's a lot of factors with how bad the Browns are.
The O-line is got to be the worst in football.
It might be the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, like you said, this is on the line with Carolina's offensive line with Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
But now you can't really say that because Andy Dalton's playing somewhat decent football.
Right.
Bryce Young's just bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of all there is to it. But yeah, your offensive line can't do squat. You can't run the football.
No running game.
You definitely can't pass protect.
Yeah.
I mean, and Deshaun, as much as I hate that man, as a football player and as a human being, he is running for his life.
Yeah. Yes, no shot.
No, he has maybe less than 2 seconds to do anything.
Yeah, he's like a 30% pass completion rate. It's just.
Oh, it's brutal. But
he has no time.
Yeah, I mean, that's not his fault.
Yeah.
But
so what do they do? What do they do? Just dump the O-line and bring in 5 more guys and say heck with it.
Yeah, it's tough to say what's the best case scenario for you guys to do something. Like I don't know if there's a true answer to fixing that problem outside of. I mean, you can't just wash them all out unless you kind of switch around some personnel or pull some from the practice squad or start your backups. I mean, who the hell knows?
Right.
But whatever's happening now just isn't working.
So would you
part of me kind of thinks like, why not just throw Jameson?
Yeah.
See what happens.
Can't be any worse.
What else do you guys have to lose?
Yeah, nothing to lose.
Yeah, and just see what happens. Look what the Panthers did. Bryce Young sucks. He's been playing like crap. Let's throw in Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Look what happened.
Yeah.
Look what has happened. I mean, they're at least in games. They have a win, and they're in other games.
Yeah.
With Bryce Young, you can't even get over 100-something yards passing.
Yeah.
And your rushing, you can forget about your rushing yards because it's not happening.
Yeah, and the Browns got blown away today. I mean, it was.
Yeah, and now to the Commanders' credit, they have a very good football team.
Yes. That quarterback is.
Jaden Daniels is the truth.
So he'll be Rookie of the Year, right? So he'll be Rookie of the Year? I mean, as far
as of right now, he is looking like Rookie of the Year.
Could he be MVP over the league?
It depends on how they finish.
Right.
But it wouldn't be too far-fetched just to be like, hey, this is on the radar.
His stats are
not saying he deserves to be in like the top 5, but like he's a blimp on the radar.
Mm-hmm.
And he's playing just some damn good football.
Yeah.
Now, I'd say his passing numbers weren't the greatest, but the Browns don't have any slouches on the secondary.
Yeah.
Like they still have a somewhat top-tier secondary. I mean, he still threw for 238 and a touchdown and ran for 82 yards against a semi-good defense.
Yeah, semi-good,
But, yeah, I mean, it's impressive to see how well they're playing. But, yeah, you're Brownies, man. I feel for you. That's tough. And like I said, there's no right answer to fixing this outside of trying new personnel. Throw in Jameis, see what happens.
Yeah.
So at this rate, your $240 million investment is just garbage.
Yeah,
and everyone knew that going in. It's garbage.
Yeah. And you got to pay him anyway, so either, fish or cut bait.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, what has he shown you in the first 5 weeks? Nothing.
Nothing.
Literally nothing. Nothing to write home about. If anything, it just gives you a consistent headache.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my question with your Brownies, though. So you have activated Chubb. He has a 21-day window.
Mm-hmm.
If your team is that bad, do you risk Chubb?
No. I might put him in to see what's going on, but as a day-to-day starter, no, I wouldn't trust that at all. At least
That's just
4 or 5.
bad, man.
I mean, there's no point. There's no point in anything really. If you just go, wow.
It's ugly. It's ugly.
Yeah, ugly. So, back to the Baltimore game, and you had talked about it earlier about Derrick Henry, and they need to get Derrick Henry more involved, which obviously is a good thing. So, but just looking at Derrick Henry, he wasn't lighting it up early in the game, but he had the long run at the end. But what, from a visual point of view, and this is an old guy talking here, when he turns the corner, the people that are chasing him are smaller than him.
Yes.
The only people that might be comparable in size are the linemen, or the D-line. Safeties, or linebackers, no. He is a physically bigger man than all of them. And he runs like it. He's like,
he's a legitimate train.
He also cut him. He made the Bengals look bad in that last run. He used to, you're chasing me. I'll just stop for a second and you'll run by me because you're an idiot. It's just like, and it struck me when growing up when I watched, and people are going to hate me for this, Jim Brown. Jim Brown was physically bigger than most of the other men on the game, and he played like it. I mean, he could just dominate you and throw you away. And so Henry, I'm not saying he's as good as Jim Brown because I think Jim Brown's the best player in the history of the game, but he just reminded me of the disparity in size between him and his people that are chasing him. It's like, that's not, once he breaks free, get over it, man, because you're not going to bring this guy down.
And you saw it on that last run.
Yeah.
He hit the corner and boom.
Yeah.
The fact that he's that big, runs that fast, and he's still as physical of a runner as he currently is.
Now, would you agree that he could be a tight end or a linebacker easily?
He could do whatever he wants with that size.
I don't see him being a wideout, but he could do it. But he's just not. He's not.
And the funny thing is, the occasions where you get some sort of screen pass and he's in open space with blockers, I'm shocked that doesn't happen more.
Yeah.
Because of how big he is. And he's got great vision.
Yeah. For
as big as he is and how patient he is.
Yeah. I
mean, that's incredible.
In open space, the first defender is going to miss him. He's going to shake him off. And that's what Jim Brown did. He said, I didn't care about the first person coming for me because I knew I was going to beat them every time. I only looked at the next person coming up as a threat. And that's Derrick Henry. He'll beat the first person.
Yeah, and his breakaway speed is just remarkable. I mean, he's hitting I think it was like 22 mile an hour radar.
Yeah.
On his top speed. That dude is 250 pounds.
Yeah. He's a brute. He's a brute.
6'3", 250, top speed of 22 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
I'm sure the defensive, back in the day, the great linebackers, defending linebackers in opposing teams said that they hated playing Cleveland because they hated Jim Brown, trying to tackle Jim Brown, because he would attack them. He would hurt them way more than they could hurt him. And that's true. They just hated playing the Browns. Well, the Browns are a very good team, but how do you tackle a guy that's bigger than you, stronger than you, faster than you, and doesn't care about you?
Just overall better.
You just better.
Just overall better.
He's better. He knows it, and it's going to happen. So, yeah.
Yeah. I've loved watching Derrick Henry play from his days at Bama to Tennessee to now in Baltimore.
Yeah. Yeah, I was stunned by
crazy.
It. When he's running that corner, there's nobody that they all look like, well, they are much smaller men. Even though those guys are big guys. They're all big guys, right?
Yeah, when he hits that gap, you already know what's going to happen.
Forget about it.
Yeah, every time. And of course, before that play started, or actually just after it started, you see him running kind of that off tackle. You saw that gap open.
Yeah.
And the rest was history. You already know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just been his career. I mean, he's just been a very talented, and he stayed relatively healthy his whole career.
Yeah.
That's the amazing thing.
Yeah.
With as physical as he has stayed healthy. And now he's in a run-first offense, and look what's happening.
He's in a great environment for him. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, it's perfect. It's just absolutely perfect
with
for him.
Lamar, my God.
Yeah, it's absolutely perfect for him.
They were doing him and Lamar in an RPO. I just give up.
Yeah,
okay.
Forget about it.
Hey, forget about it.
Yeah, just forget about it.
Okay.
Well, especially with Baltimore's offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the perfect scenario for him.
Yep. Yep. All right. Anything else? That's all I've got.
Well, kickoff for Dallas is at 9:45 now, so I'm going to be up till about 1 a.m. watching this football game.
So, but it doesn't look like it's had it stopped raining. It looks like it's still.
It's still pissing down rain over there, so they've pushed the kickoff to 45 after.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's some great football games.
Yeah.
Some great football games.
Yeah, I'll have to take an extra nap. You know what I mean?
Jeez, yeah. But I mean, the Niners lost again.
Yes.
My Seahawks lost today. Like, geez, the Jets, dude. I don't even know if you want to talk about how bad the Jets were.
You can do it. Go ahead.
Blindside blocking Aaron Rodgers was atrocious.
They were playing Minnesota, my guys.
Yeah, Minnesota is still undefeated, which
they're for real, right?
It's amazing. They're 100%. They're for real. 100%. That defense is electric.
Darn old.
But yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers didn't have his best stuff. 3 picks.
Yeah.
No rushing attack. Blindside blocking for the offensive line for him was atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
And Minnesota played a tough game.
Yeah.
It's I would have never guessed it.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed Minnesota being as good as they are with Sam Darnold.
So who's going to take the NFC West?
I still think Seattle. I don't know what's going on with the Niners. Like, truly, it's.
Well.
And now, to be fair, like, the Niners are driving down the field. Purdy gets his arm kind of hit from behind.
Mm-hmm.
Ball flies up.
Right.
I mean, it just landed in Arizona's hand. So, like, it's not really his fault. It was just a great defensive effort, and then the rest is history. But Niners defense, secondary-wise, just kind of let up some key plays, some key catches, and Kyler Murray did what Kyler Murray does.
Yeah.
So it's
Arizona. I'm like, you're on them, and I'm turning into a believer here.
Yeah, I think Arizona has got something. They're still piecing it together, but I mean that's a big win against San Fran.
Yeah.
And the Rams are giving any team they play just a run for their money.
Yeah.
Now, I know the Packers ended up pulling out the win, but Matt Stafford is slinging it to nobodies.
Yeah.
Literal nobodies. And they're still in these games.
Yeah.
So just wait till Cooper Kupp comes back. Wait till Puka Nacua comes back. And I think the Rams could possibly make a run. Maybe, don't quote me, but they could maybe squeak into the wild card, depending on kind of how everything plays out. But
Okay.
outside of the Rams' defense kind of being suspect, when their offense is on, it's on. I mean, it's dangerous. And Matt Stafford's still Matt Stafford.
Yeah. Okay.
They did some real stupid fourth and whatever plays that they shouldn't have gone for.
Right.
A couple aired throws, but I mean they have a good rushing attack and a very, very good head coach and play caller. So
Yep.
I mean that's really all you need to make a decent run.
Yeah. So check us out on X as well, YouTube, of course. Next week we'll be on vacation, right?
Yep, got a big old move, move.
Yeah. So nothing Thursday, nothing Friday, or nothing Monday. So, but these things have to happen. So it'll be good.
Gotta be a big boy,
Yeah.
but we will be back.
We will be back. All right. Talk to everybody soon. Bye.